Some of the similarities, Peter, with the Albanese campaign from Minns, it is a small target, this campaign.
It is a small target. And in this one, there isn't a hated leader like we saw in the recent federal campaign. There's no Scott Morrison factor playing out with either of them. They are unfailingly polite about each other. The referencing of each other is with a lot of dignity. It's nice to see, but it means that the campaign is either on policy terms or the ground game. I think the ALP ground game, particularly on digital media, has been very strong. Things that I've seen and heard, very much like we saw in Victoria, where the Libs just weren't anywhere near competitive on that front. But I think beyond the two leaders, the other really big player in this, yes, One Nation, but I think it's Kean. And I think that's where a lot of the centre-right vote will be assessed through the prism of what's been the Matt Kean influence in this contest.
Yeah, I'm with you, Peter. I think that with an It's Time vote, what Minns has done is like what's go through my head when I say Chris Minns, I think of a person on park runs. And he seems like a jolly good chap. And if you don't offend when it's time, then you give yourself the best chance to get in. But that meant that the coalition had to be really sort of strong on big issues, drive agendas, and shake the tree. And I have to say, Matt Kean, I know he thinks he's a big asset in Macquarie Street, but my God, he's baggage for us. And it hurts. It really hurts.
When you say that, you mean federally as well?
You watch One Nation's vote in the upper house because people are saying, I just don't agree with what Matt Kean says. Was this
brought up with you at
all the time,
booths?
Continually, and amongst our key supporters, amongst our heart and soul people. I don't know what that's all about. You're putting it threat our industries. You're cuddling up to. You're more worried about the teals. There's sort of green inflection in your policy, and we can see that poll that came out just this week. It wasn't just what we think; it's what's actually happening.
Yeah, it's not his own seat of Hornsby too, as Andrew had Leppington, let's say, right, sub 2% marginal seat, currently held by the ALP. 60% of Leppington voters say we think the Libs are on the wrong track on energy. I mean, that's a real, and the high net negatives, when you rarely see a net negative of someone, and it's not their seat, but a net negative of a frontbencher beyond the leader, sub 20s, sub 39 in one of those marginals. So that's hurting them across the board. And I think Barney's point, there's not a character to this election. Like, big elections, you go, this is what the fight was about. Yeah. These one or two, three things. Perhaps privatisation has cut through, cost of living, but that's everywhere. So what's the defining character of this election?